All right, friends, this video is a little tutorial on how to do a vinyasa with modifications. So a vinyasa is where you go into a downward facing dog, going through chaturanga dandasana, and then moving up into a cobra, and from there going back into downward facing dog. So this is basically the flow you do in between some asanas, some of the positions. And in a vinyasa flow class, this is what we're doing. So in the sun salutations, we have vinyasa flows. Between the standing positions, we have vinyasa flows. Then when you finally go into the sitting or the lying down on the mat position, the sitting down on the mat positions, the asanas, you no longer do the vinyasa. So the vinyasa flow is customary down in the beginning of the class, especially when you do your sun salutations. So I'm going to give you a few modifications that you can work with in order for you to make sure that you have the most successful practice that is accessible to you. So from here, we're just together going to go through from a child's position. So you can choose to do maybe a little wider child's position, opening up through the hips, melting the heart into the mat, pressing down the hands, releasing the tension, and just resting your forehead gently into the mat. So child's pose is a very calming position. It calms down the nervous system. And it's a good start, but it's also a good resting pose. Whenever you're stressed, whenever you just need to calm down, I urge you to do a few moments of child's position. So from here, just let your sit bones gently move towards your heels without any active movement. Just imagine that they're slowly and surely melting closer and closer into the heels. At the same time, you're basically pushing away the arms from your body by pressing down through the palms of your hands. So this is a more relaxed version of a child's pose. When I go into an activation of a child's pose, this is where I press down my fingertips into the mat and I lift my elbows from the mat. What this does is that it contracts the scapula a little bit together, but it also activates the heart and the chest. So you feel this little tension between your scapula, and this tension is more like a energy flow that goes through the scapula down into the shoulders, continuing into the elbows, pressing down through your wrist and melting into your fingertips. So this is an active child's pose. From here, you can gently go into a little baby cobra by lifting slowly the forehead off the mat. And if it feels comfortable for you, you can keep lifting a little bit more, elongating that spine, keeping it long and neutral and opening up through the chest. Slowly, gently, but be aware, do not lift your sit bones, keep pressing them into, there you go. So you have a crazy hip opening here and also an opening in the chest. And if this is too much for you, just stay down here, no worries, find what works for you. Coming back into the mat, releasing, and also releasing the tension in your hands. Let's try that again. Starting by activating the arms, pressing down into the mat. Take a deep breath in, inhale, lifting up, long neutral spine. Keep opening up that chest. And exhale, relax. Let's try that one last time. Release the hands, breathe. Pressing down those fingers into the mat, lifting the elbows off the floor. Inhale, lifting up that chest, opening up. And let go. Coming all the way down. Beautiful. Now bring your elbows into your knees a little bit here, and from here you're gonna curl your toes under, and if you can, bring your knees a little bit closer in. Now keep pressing the sit bones down into the heels, and we're gonna do a little bit of a different child's positions. This is more of a compact version. So start by bringing down your belly into your thighs, relaxing, and relax those arms. So this is another version that you can try out. It's a bit more active in the legs. Since you have activated your feet, you're pressing down into your mat, you're opening up the Achilles, so you're giving your calves a very nice stretch. At the same time, the back has a harder time coming down into the heels. Pressing down the fingertips, again activating those hands. Inhale, lift the chest up, and you can choose again. If this is enough, you stay here. If you can go a little bit higher, you keep on lifting until you feel that you have gotten your belly off your thighs. And slowly, gently come back down and release. Inhale, pressing it down, lifting it up, opening up through the chest. And release. And if you're feeling this in your knees, you can always put a little towel or a blanket under your knees to offload the pressure. Bringing it up again, one more. And releasing, coming back down. And from here, you're going to go up to a tabletop position. So tabletop, you're basically on all fours. And start by letting go of your feet. So you're releasing the feet, and just take a little moment here for yourself just to get rid of the tension that you have accumulated in your body throughout the day or throughout the last day, or just for this moment. And shake, wiggle, circle, whatever feels good for you. So when you're doing this motion, you can definitely have your feet relaxed into the mat. But now when we're going to go into an active tabletop position, we're going to curl the feet under. This will, again, it's going to offload the pressure from the knees a little bit. And here, let's make sure that we have our elbows aligned with our shoulders and our wrists. So it's really important here that you're not in the back, or you're not leaning too much over. You're finding just the right amount of balance. All right, from here, we're gonna go into cat and cow. So deep breath in, lifting up through the chest. Sit bones are opening out. Lifting up the nose, deep breath. Keep opening up that chest. Long, long, long belly here. And keep pressing those sit bones out and apart. There you go. And exhale, nose into the chest. Looking, gazing into your belly button. Tailbone is under, and you're curling. And don't forget that you're pressing down through the mat. So this is an activation, yes. And again, lifting up through the chest, opening up. Sit bones out and apart. Open up the belly. And curl your body. Like an angry cat, or a cat that is stretching. And again, lift up. And release. So what you're going to do from here is you're going to gently lift by pressing down through the hands. You're going to lift the knees off the mat and going into downward facing dog. And what's important here in the downward facing dog is not that you keep your heels into the mat. No, that may feel very, very too much for a lot of people, but it's important that you have your core engaged. So keep imagining that your belly button is pulling into your spine. There you go. And your sit bones are, again, they're pressing out and apart. You have an activation in your scapula. So I'm not collapsing into my scapula. I actually have an activation here. So I'm pulling towards my fingertips. Be mindful of your elbows so they don't go in. Keep them gentle, a little stretch there. And here you're gonna take a little moment for yourself. Pedal the feet, a little mini walk, a little mini stretch from heel to heel, from calf to calf, whatever feels good for you. So now that we have our downward facing dog, we're gonna go into our vinyasa. So from here, you are gonna pull the body towards your hands. Maybe you need to open up the hands a little bit. And from here, it's really important that you are pushing your body over your hands. So I'm not in the back, I'm pushing over my hands. We are gently gonna put the knees down to the mat. And again, you're gonna push yourself over your hands, opening up the chest just a little bit. Bending down through the elbows, coming all the way down to the mat. Letting go of the feet. And now, bring your elbows in and back. So scapula is retracting here. You're gonna lift your nose off your chest, and now it's up to you. If you have any issues with your upper back or lower back, this is definitely enough for you. You will feel the pressure here. You can stay here, keep breathing. It's important that you just fill your body with air, with oxygen. And we're gonna come down. So we're gonna do that again, pushing the elbows into your body. Elbows are pointing up to the sky, lifting the nose up from the mat, opening up through the chest, maybe a little bit higher this time. And releasing down into the mat. One last, elbows in, lifting up. And here we go. If you have no issues in your back, if it feels comfortable for you, come all the way up, hold it there. Deep breath. And get that down. And from here, you're going to release the hands a bit, curl your toes under, and you're going to go through the knees, back into a child's position. And from the child's position, you're going to lift the sit bones up into the sky and bring yourself up to downward facing dog. And you might find yourself in a bigger downward facing dog. If this is comfortable for you, just stay there because it's going to help you in a plank position. If not, make sure that you come forward with your feet. And stay here. Deep breath. Exhale through the nose. Inhale and exhale, and one last inhale and exhale. And we're gonna go into another vinyasa, and this time, if it feels okay for you, you're gonna come towards the plank position, pressing down again, body over those hands. Keep your chest lifted, keep your knees lifted, bend the elbows, and come all the way down for chaturanga, belly down into the floor. Let go of the feet. Maybe you need to open the hands a little bit out to the side, coming a little bit out in front of you. And again, from here, this is enough. Just stay here and breathe. But if you want, try and see if you can find a Sphinx position. So Sphinx pose is perfect if you have any lower back issues, any upper back issues, because what you're doing is you're pressing down through the elbows, you're pressing down through the palms, and you're opening up your chest. And this is a lot of pressure for a lot of people. But try and stay with it and try to keep activating. So the key here is the activation. If I just collapse and go into my body, I'm basically just being a blob. But here you want to lift up. Again, remember that belly button into your spine, opening up through the chest, opening up, lifting up. And deep breaths. Yes. Breathe. And from here, you're going to gently release the activation. You're going to open up the elbows, open up the hands out to the side, pressing down the hands into the mat, pulling your toes under, so curling your toes under. And you're going to again start by going up through your knees and lifting up into the downward facing dog. Breathe. Sorry, guys. From here, one more progression of the Vinyasa. So we're gonna go again into that plank. Oh my gosh, we're gonna get so strong. From here, put your feet together. You're gonna lift one foot off the floor. So we're gonna do a three-legged plank and a three-legged chaturanga. All the way down. Letting go of the feet. Bringing again the elbows in and up. Deep breath. And remember, for some this is enough. Maybe you want to go into the Sphinx pose, but if you can, open up the hands a little bit and press yourself up into a big cobra. Breathe. And from here, curl the toes under and directly bring yourself up into the downward facing dog. So you will feel that in your lower back. So again, if you have any mobility issues in your back, I do not recommend going through the toes up to downward facing dog. But if you are totally okay, that is a good progression for you if you want to get a little bit stronger. And we're going to bend the knees, coming all the way down into the mat. Going into one last child's pose. Just relax. And this time we're going to put the arms in the back. Just letting go. Nice, a deep breath. Beautiful. And from here, bring the hands into the body and bring yourself up to a seated position. And there you go. So you have a few modifications of the Vinyasa. You have a few of the progressions. It's going to be up to you to choose whatever feels good and natural to you. Usually when I do a full yoga class, I always go through the first modification of the Vinyasa, so knees down into the mat, and then I progress and give you the option of progressing or staying with the modification. So if you have any questions, if there is anything that you want me to clarify, just write it in the comments and I will try to help you out and be a little bit more clear. Thank you.